Music Nation. Genres like hip hop, R&B, jazz, soul, reggae, gospel, and more united. The Collective Music Nation is a nonprofit organization committed to the development of collective music. Free memberships are available now. Collective Music Nation. One voice, strength in unity.
This is Miss Care keeping you connected with your iLive 5x5. Brought to you by iLive Music. Sponsored by Independent Hype. And powered by The Hook Entertainment. Contribute to the conversation by using hashtag iLive5x5.
For the latest and greatest in soul music and more, stay tuned to iLive Radio throughout the week.
Connect with our team at iliveradio.com or follow us at iLive Radio across social platforms.
The number one hit music station.
You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
My name is Donna Savage, and welcome and joining me at iLive Radio. Today is my very first day, so be patient with me. Thank you. So listen, tonight we're going to have a young lady by the name of Marlin joining us, but until she gets on the platform, let's just have a conversation. Let me introduce myself to you. So my name is Donna Savage. I am the owner of a company called Savage Desires, and this segment is called Talk with Savage Desires, where we talk about sexuality, sensuality, and anything that makes you uncomfortable in your body. We're not only be talking about sexuality and sensuality, we're going to be even talking about health and wealth and feeling good and being in, it's about well-being. So Marlene, which is my guest, she's a herbalist, and we're going to have her talk about the whole premenopausal, menopause. We're going to talk about prostate issues. And for those, because of the growing ages nowadays, you know, we're talking about health and okay, so Marlene should be calling in just now. So in the interim, hold on, just give me 2 seconds. Just bear with me. It's my first day, so if I screw up, be kind. Be kind. All right. So anyways, what I was saying is that she will be talking about the health benefits, and where we need to go, you know, to feel better about ourselves. Let me put my glasses on. So in the meantime, Marlene is calling. So in the meantime, also, don't forget that I'm looking for guests as well. So we can talk about sex and sexuality. And again, this is brought to you by iLive Radio. So if you want to tune in to my segment on Tuesdays, go to iLive.com, correct? iLiveradio.com. So today's going to be our segment, which again, we're just waiting on Marlene to come on so we can just start this beautiful segment. All right, so if you want to find me, just come on to iliveradio.com and you see all the segment, research, Donna Savage at Savage Desires, where everything sexual and sensual that we talk about. How is it going? Have we heard from her? Not yet. All right. All right. So,
Hi.
sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you, Marlene. It's like I was only prepared for you. Next time I'm going to prepare for something else if you don't show up, anybody else don't show up. Thank you for joining me, Marlene. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so thank you for joining me. I was just telling the guest that Marlene is a herbalist. Marlene, thank you again for joining me. So, Marlene, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Marlin. I run an herbal company called Marlin Herbs Clinic, and we supply herbs online and in the clinic also, and we supply treatment plans.
So, I think I met you, Marlon, about 3 or 4 years ago, and Marlon has changed my life significantly when it comes to my not only my endocrine system, which is or sex hormone, but traumatic. You know, Marlon, you have done so much for me, and I've recommended so many people to you because of where you are. So, Marlon, questions, right? Why herbs? Why is it that was your choice of going to for a profession?
is not the only profession, but it's the easiest one because I actually love it.
Okay, good.
So
So why not a doctor?
true.
But I would always ask you why not a doctor, but why herb? Why did you choose that avenue to go into the herbs?
Because herb, you deal with the whole plant. You don't deal with only one alkaloid and nutrients in it. And it's the reason why it's a whole plant because most time the most active part of the herb is poisonous. So you need the whole plant and the support of other plants for it to do the work it needs to do in the body without causing adverse harm. So herbs tend to be more whole. Just like you eat in herbs, you eat thyme, you eat scallion, you eat all kind of vegetables. Those are all herbs.
Mm-hmm.
Tested over the millennium, and people said, okay, it's good for us because we poo and we feel good when we eat it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing, but pick out one part of it and make it really logically effective. It's like you have the will, and if you pick out just one alkaloid in it, which makes aspirin, the phytic acid, it does really have disastrous effect, although it's a amazing pain reliever.
Awesome. So you and I have been talking, and tonight's episode, I kind of wanted to dive into the premenopausal, menopause, and prostate issues. And
Okay, perfect.
you know what? And the crazy thing about it is, you have some women that has really bad side effects from prostate issues, from low libido, from having no sex drive, to dryness, to sweatiness, to feeling fatigued by weight gain, the whole 9 yards. And I've always talked to you in terms of that. So in regards to women that's feeling this way, what would your recommendation be?
Okay, when you talk about they, okay, they're responding to one part of the endocrine system that is actually being dominated by estrogen when you come on to menopause.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't respond to the body like that because it's always a systematic cure. So when you have endocrinal problem, any part of the body is going to affect all of the other parts of the body. So it's going to apply. It's going to affect your adrenals or at work. It's going to affect your pancreas or at work, your thyroid, the pituitary gland, all of those stuff. You're not going to sleep properly because you're going to be thrown off with all of your levels in your brain. Your thyroids are going to act up. You're going to gain weight, get belly fat because no pancreas is overworked and nothing is balanced. So your approach is balance. So I make an adrenal endocrinal support, and you enter menopause without having any other symptoms. None. No hot flash, no weight gain, no stomach, no drying out of skin, no vaginal dryness, nothing. And your libido stay intact. So you're not just supporting your ovaries.
Okay, so
You're
what you're
supporting.
saying is, if even
Yeah.
one party, even one system in your whole endocrine system is off, it's going to show through everything off, is what you're saying.
Yes, it's an imbalance. It's just like balancing your car. You have to balance off where with tires.
Okay, so I know you do this, and you have a whole endocrine system, and I've heard so many people saying so much, and I remember you telling me also that even the food that you eat can also
Yeah, but the phytoestrogen food, which is a lot of plant-based food, is have a tons of phytoestrogen, and
plant-based
they eat
food.
like all the plant-based.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, tons of phytoestrogen, and it just really when it's heavily
Really?
plant-based, some people tend to not know what to do, and they go vegan like in a hurry, and it's still not doing anything except making them irritable. So you have to sit
Really?
down. You have to be really, really conscious of how you perceive food
And I've always
and what.
thought that if you go, let's say, eat the bush or the vegan or the vegetable, that would be such an easier diet for that. But you're
Oh, well,
saying the
first of all, it's
opposite.
not about the diet. There's nothing in it that's enjoyable. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine sex without joy. It's crazy. So, of course, it cannot be very good. You, so it's ridiculous. You can't pot a plant without fats and all the other necessary components, which is more important than plants.
So your body
So,
need fats and
I
all the minerals from the animal is what you're saying.
yeah, and you get a lot of um, fat-based vitamins from fat. You get a lot of vitamin D, you get K2, you get a lot of vitamin, which really Vitamin D is not really a vitamin, it's a hormone, but it's stored in the fat glands of the animals, in the fat section. So it's not really, but you just get this sort of abundance of stuff that needs to balance you out. And you really can't get it without healthy fats. And healthy fats are animal fats. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it really is one of the better fats. And then you can go on to like nut fat, like coconut or palm. And, you know, it just keeps your skin nice, everything nice. And you use ketones. So you don't really lose your cool. You're always in a really good place in your brain. You're not using sugars and carbohydrates to fuel the body, which really is very tiresome, and it makes you gain weight because it shouldn't even be the body. So you end up using a lot more parts of the adrenal to put that away, and it's on that fat. And you know me, Donna, I have no gut. I have no fat.
I know you have. But so if people are eating the correct amount of fat, especially from the animals, because nowadays what's happening is even young women nowadays that I've been speaking to are complaining about vaginal dryness. Is it because they're not having enough fat in their diet?
Eat too much. You can't eat too much fat. There's never any excess fat.
But there's good fat and there's bad fat, no?
Right, because if you eat the right amount of fat, you're satiated, so you really can't overeat. But if you eat corn oil, which really, there's no corn that has oil, so you know that's garbage. And if you eat canola and vegetable oils, and even some of the olive oil is not even authentic olive oil, it's mixed down with all of these easier pressed oils, and it's really become tragic on the body, because the body doesn't know what to do with it, and it's really destructive. It goes in and it breaks up the cardiovascular system a lot, damages the kidney.
So
but
it's storing longer in the body versus dispelling, is what you're saying.
Well, the body doesn't have the equipment to break it down that well. You don't even have enough bile to break it down to use it, because and you're already putting too much carbs, so the pancreas is really shut. So the amylase is restricted. So you really want to get digestible fats that are effective in the gut and other parts of the body, especially for the brain, or the body sees it and use it. So then you support the body with good fat, and you support the body with good protein. So I said fat first, then protein, then a little bit of starch. That's really what the body needs. The body don't need a lot of frills. It's a very simple thing. But and then if you know that you're off in your adrenals because you have too much carbs, eat too much pizza, too much bread, too much dough, too much all of those things, based stuff. Then you have to go back to really doing what you have done, and like that adrenal endocrine support for women that have really in there, like pine bark and stuff like holy basil and chase berries, and you just have even club moss, greater celandine, peony, like really good herbs are in there, and it really look after the body good. Ashwagandha, astragalus, ginseng, so a couple of different ginseng is in your combination, and a really good root, which is really like a yam that provides these good hormones. Like
yam, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yam is there's still yams on your body and stuff, but like we eat a lot of yams, so just consuming that diet, that really rich root, it really balances out, phytoestrogens, and balances out in the body, and you really feel really good.
Okay,
so it's a combination of it, and then getting onto a program where you do like a 30-day support of these wonderful other herbs, and you just find that your gut goes away, your skin look better, you get more wet, your brain feel better, and then you're in the mood to have great sex. But that's the side effects of it. The side effect is that you feel good, so then you can send you
sex. That's a great side effect for anybody, no? Oh my God, Marlene, thank you so much. So I know we're talking about the menopause and the premenopausal for women, and just to reiterate, all we're talking about is getting amazing or great oils, and it's the things that you're putting in your body that's basically making your whole hormone unbalanced. So we need that.
Right, and when you have a imbalanced hormone, you can't just really start eating just oil and it repairs it.
No.
It will take a much longer. But you can find really good herbs that are really good at doing corrective work in short amount of time, like holy basil and ashwagandha. These are all African herbs that just rhodiola that really work really good. So I would advise people to go out and get really good combination of herbs, because no one herb does it, because each herbs have their side effects. So you balance it
With the
other
different
herbs.
herbs.
And
Okay, okay. Because I know also that you sell herbs as well. So more than likely, all these herbs that you're mentioning to me, people can go on your website and purchase anyways, correct?
yeah, but like, are they going to do an adrenal support with 30 herbs? You know,
Yeah.
do they know how to do it?
Okay,
And
okay.
and out on the out and the market, you have really good you have really your combination is pretty good.
Yes.
I look at your combination; it's really, 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 really good.
Yes, I can't wait
So
to put that out.
it's unique because you're balancing the adrenals and the endocrine. Even this again with your combination, you deal with people that are diabetic. You deal with imbalance in the adrenals and in the endocrine time, and in the not endocrine in the pancreas. So all of these are balancing herbs. The whole system get balanced, and the people feel better.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna now skip to the men. So we're talking about prostate
And for the men is
issues.
nice.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, the men.
The men, because I kind of understand that it's the same adrenal, the whole endocrine system. And
They don't use the same herbs though for men and for women.
look at that, eh? But similar
Yeah,
to,
you don't.
it's similar?
No, for men it's a herb that uptake a little bit more. Um, for the woman, we work on progesterone and
Okay.
getting that level up and back, and all of that, and having no excess amount of estrogen that makes you get beard and all those stuff. But for men, you want to lower estrogen a bit and raise their testosterone.
Yeah, that's
So it's
testosterone.
some,
So, for men who don't like going to take their prostate examination, right? Because I know they always recommend men after a certain age to go in and get their testes tested. And I know we have a product out there for adrenal, for the men. Is it the adrenal or
Mhm.
it's the adrenal, right? So
I mean, again, it's for the men
the
endocrine.
endocrine.
But what get to beat out a lot is those two little adrenals sits on the kidney. Those adrenals have a lot of nerves.
Mm-hmm.
uh, They have the hormone around that it makes all these hormones, and they get beaten out a lot with stressors in life. And also, men that have prostate issues should always investigate environmental toxins like candium. And within the prostate support that you have, it has herbs that binds candium. And they should also experiment if they ever had been exposed in their younger days to STDs, because that leads to prostate illness.
As
So
well,
if they
yeah.
can explore treating that with good herbs too,
Mm-hmm.
uh, won't have this enlarged prostate issues that they will have. So it's mainly STDs and candium
And
and environmental toxins,
and a
excess
lot of
amount of.
and a lot of times men don't even realize that they get STDs because for let's go back to the woman for a second, right? For instance, if a woman have a yeast infection, right? For men, they don't really have, if it's not too bad, they don't really have the same experience as a woman. With the whole candida thing and the whole itching and stuff. And I know that can be transmitted to a gentleman. And more than likely, if a woman clean themselves, go to doctors and get whatever they need to get, and the guys doesn't. So would that be considered an STD as well, and that can seep in their system and be also a part of the whole process, and in terms of the whole testes and I know you mentioned STD and environment that can cause it. But would you consider, is what I'm saying, like a yeast infection that's not treated by a man a part of the problem as well?
Well, fungal infection is never good.
Mm-hmm.
For the fungal infection, like so that it's all over the body, dandruff, like a lot of things are fungal in scalp. It shows up in many ways. But fungus is a very weird thing to cure in the body. It's just that we live with this horrible, horrible infectious stuff that we just can't get rid of. And but it also put the body under these autoimmune stressors that open up our exposure to cancer also, because when you're dealing with all these other stuff, nothing else works right. Your immune system doesn't work right. The spleen doesn't get to work as effective because you have these underlying in the background.
Hey, this is Emily King, and you're listening to iLive Radio.
The internet's number one on the World Wide Web. iLive Radio.
You're listening to iLive Radio. This is Jay Most. Enjoy.
How you doing? What's good? It's Nkechi the Lyrical, sitting in my zone here, vibing and listening to iLive. And if you don't know, get to know. And if you do know, you don't know. And if you know, then relax and enjoy the ride.
Attention à tous les musiciens, groupes, associations, clubs et organisations qui représentent les styles collectifs de musique à travers la Canada. Le moment est venu de reconstruire nos genres des nations musicales collectives comme le hip-hop, le R&B, le jazz, le soul, le reggae, le gospel et plus unis. La Nation de la musique collective est une organisation à but non lucratif engagée dans le développement de la musique collective. Des adhésions gratuites sont disponibles dès maintenant. La Nation de la musique collective, une seule voix, la force dans l'unité.
Nothing makes you look, feel, and perform better than a tailor-made suit. Just like a tailor-made suit, a mortgage is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Canadian Tailored Mortgage Solutions will customize a mortgage to perfectly suit your needs. Come and get fitted for your mortgage today at 1-877-834-9346 or reach us on the web at ctmortgagesolutions.com. COVID safety protocols are in place. Brokerage license number 13228.
You're listening to iLive Radio.
Here are some words of wisdom. Don't change your station. Don't change your station.
Hi, welcome back. Marlene, are you there?
I'm here.
I am so sorry. Commercial break, and I didn't give you a heads up.
Commercial break.
Oh my God. For those who are joining me back on iLive Radio, my name is Donna Savage, and I have Marlene from Marlin's Herb as our guest speaker tonight, where we're talking about menopausal, premenopausal, prostate issues and so forth that may affect or may not affect your sexual well-being and health being as well. This is brought to you by iLive Radio, and Marlene, welcome back, and thank you for so far by educating me actually on so much how important herb and food is when it comes to a healthy and wealthy lifestyle. So before the commercial break, we were talking about the whole fungal and men and their prostate. So what were you saying? I mean, you mentioned that fungal could also be a big part of different issues. So you can continue if you don't mind.
Well, when people have fungal infection, they think it's topical, but it goes throughout the body. And it rides the body. It's almost like a role like tuberculosis. It just keep going through everything. So when you have a fungal disease, it's not good. So it just goes everywhere. And I mean, it can easily be cleared up. It's difficult to clear up. That's why doctors really, to treat it, most doctors really don't like to, because they end up damaging the liver with all these treatment that they give for it. But but it's really hard sometimes, because they give, most of the one that nasolis and the two signs, and they, like those ones like miconazoles and ketonazole, and those are really, really hard on the liver. But anyhow, there's other treatment for that. But when you have infections like tricks, like when men have tricks, it's asymptomatic. They will never know they have it. But it was because of getting prostate issues.
So
because it goes
not to cut you, but how would one know? Because tricks, the only reason I know about it is because you mention it. So for men, what you're saying, probably they should just go to the doctor and just tell them to just test for every STD out there?
Yeah, because tricks, one of those tricks is asymptomatic. Men get fungal infection all the time, and they don't think it is. Just think they can just wash it off, because you lower the levels of the fungus, and then it comes back in another few days, and they don't see the impact, and they get this jock itch, and they think, oh, I'm going to powder it and it goes up, but it's really a fungal infection. So it should be dealt with because it gets inside the body. It's not just stays outside. And so, those bring burdens to the prostate and, and bring a lot of burden to the kidneys because it goes up into the kidneys.
Okay, so what you're saying so far I'm hearing is like, wow. So it can be environmental, STDs, that can have a man have prostate issues. And I remember thinking.
It can just be stress. It can be just being broke.
Stress,
really
exactly. That's true. I know stress can do a big damage on people's psyche and their body. And I remember when we were growing up as kids. Remember when we were growing up as kids, and it's like people are saying it's that you have no choice but to have these things. You have no choice. Menopause is going to come on. Everybody's going to have prostate issues. The older you get, you're going to start peeing more, and then you're going to have. And not only that, then your whole ejaculation you're gonna have a problem with your ejaculation. And I mean, they put a death sentence on men after they're over 50. You remember? I
know.
And to be honest, I know I heard.
And there's a nice, fine 50-year-old man out there.
But that's the thing, though. But because of where you're mentally, where your mind is at, and you're thinking,
and
okay,
that all depends on how the men treat their bodies.
Hey, but that's it. But that's it, though. We just have to be aware, because remember the death sentence back them time there. If you're 50, that's it. You don't want to have no woman. The woman is going to stay with you because sex is very important in anybody's life, anyways. But then you, as a herbalist, an amazing woman that and you and I talk all the time, that you need to be out there front and center to realize that there's no death sentence when it comes to health.
Not sexual health. You really have really great sex well into.
That's what I'm saying. It's
great sex.
And
great sex.
And remember, even the supplement that I sell, and we talk about diabetes. A couple of my clients were diabetic, and they said that they've taken everything, and I said, you know what, you try this, right? And it's like, even men with diabetes who doesn't realize that it's not a death sentence, because I know men who in their 30s who's diabetic and is having issues, ED issues because of that.
Well, they will have issues because what sugar insensitivity does is not the sensitivity, insensitivity, does to the vascular system is actually basically just rot the veins out. So you're going to have erectile dysfunction because there's no veins to carry blood. There's no effective valve. There's nothing to pump. So that's just what it does. You cannot eat carbs. You cannot eat excess. You can eat sugars. I don't even hate sugars as much as I hate carbs. But you can't eat, high fructose corn syrup, which is an everything process, which is a whole different level of man-made sugar.
So it's a man-made sugar that's screwing up everybody's system.
Yeah, and it's a convenience of the food, and it's a convenience, and most of the food that are bad for us is the packaged plant-based crap. Everything is packaged as plant-based. So if people stay around to like thawing out chicken and making it, and cooking a piece of yam and having some good butter that is just pouring milk, or just get some coconut and broth it. It's a whole different diet, and it's whole foods. So you don't have to be on this treadmill of eating a whole bunch of a whole 3 bowls of green vegetables and like you're some sort of cow. Nobody wants to eat that. Yeah, for you to consume it, you have to flood it with oil and salt to make it consumable. So, so really and truly, people can eat real, natural, good food. And if you travel the world, nobody's obsessed with vegetable like North Americans. They're just absolutely obsessed with them. They're the biggest, fattest, most bad-tempered person on the planet. And you go to other places that they do use vegetable, and they overcook it in their meat and all of that thing and whatever, but they eat red meat, and they eat goats, and they eat whatever. And they eat a lot of milk-based, like, butter and heavy creams and, You go to places like Africa where they eat a lot of palm oil and stuff. Quite healthy people. You don't. They're not counting calories and they're not fat. But as soon as you go into the developed metropolitan part of these countries, that they get exposed to the North American plant-based packaged food that comes over, you see a complete change in the metabolism of these people. They're much bigger in the towns. And if you go to the rural area, they just look like normal human beings. You know, the old people just look like they're still like in their 60s. They just look like they're still in their 30s. They're lean. And they're not really in a gym working out. They're doing work, but they're not lacking muscle.
So you are who you eat. You are who you eat, basically. So whatever you put in your body, you can tell.
Yeah. But you have to watch who tells you what to eat. Investigate who tells you what to eat. A lot of times people come into the clinic and I said, you got to stop feeding your kids cereal. And they're like, oh, but they love cereal. I said, okay, go read up on John Kellogg. Go see that he's a person that believes in eugenics and why did he come up with the cereal eating, the lack of fat and what it does to so-called stop masturbation and stuff. So go read up on the history of the food that you're feeding your kid. And then say, this is all bullshit. Why am I feeding my kid this? So you can't make food in a lab for human being. It is not right. You just can't eat laboratory food. You know, a lot of the greens that we're eating are grown inside of a greenhouse, doesn't get enough sulfur. You know, is it really that healthy with a lot of oxalate, you know, excess amount of oxalate that we are consuming every day that really locks our body down? So you can step back and eat what you like and your
body tells you to, you know. I mean, your body does tell you if you're eating the right things. But a lot of people, they're just so busy, and I believe that's why so much of these manufacturers come up with these things. It's quick and easy. You're not putting the love, you're not putting the energy, you're not putting the time spent into what's going into your body. Because remember, even back in the days, we had microwave dinner, 5 minutes and it done. I guess it's the same thing now. Like, people are not putting in the effort, the amount of effort that they're putting in their cars, they're not putting it in their bodies, right?
Think about the time that you spend putting on your makeup.
That's what I'm saying. But people don't put the time in for the things that should matter. It's the things that doesn't matter. They don't put the time in, Donna. The reason why they don't put their time in to prepare food because they have adrenal issues, they have endocrine issues, and they always feel sluggish and they always feel sick. It's the new normal to feel sick. They can't remember not feeling sick. So they don't jump out of bed and say, oh, I'm going to cook this because I feel like it. They're not a spring chicken because they're sick. They're going every day and they don't realize that they're sick. So people will take the herb and say, I can't remember feeling like this. Yes. You know what? You knocked the nail on the head just a while ago. It's the new normal to feel the way that people are feeling because they're not looking after themselves. I totally agree with that.
Proper nutrients. They're not dealing with energy the same, the better way. They're not, and they've heard not to eat fat. They have heard not to eat root, most of the type of food that we eat. They heard not to, all of the good fats are just demonized because they're like third world fat, I guess. So when we start going to the pretty fat that they make for us in the little nice plastic bottle, we see the impact on our kids and our life and our sex drive go down.
Yeah, that's attractive to them.
Yeah, so if you leave that, but you can always start eating properly, but sometimes you need a really good jump in really good herbs to jump you back, to reset the thyroids and help with the adrenals and help with the ovaries. And a lot of people come to me with, problem with fibroids and stuff. PCOS, it's really just a damaged system. And the combination that you have does that really well. Really deal with PCOS and get rid of the beard and the broad back and the mood swings and the craving for chocolates and sugars. You get rid of all of that craving. Craving just goes. Wow. Because when you're balanced, you don't really want quick energy. And when you're not balanced, you need quick energies. So you don't feel good. So you need put something in, quick energy in the body. Yeah. Because you release insulin and you get that quick burst and you're alert and then you're down again. And it's just a vicious cycle. It's a drug addict.
Yeah, it's like over and over and over again. You keep doing the same cycle. And it takes a wear and tear on your body as well too, right?
To wear out your adrenals, it literally wears it out. And doctors said, oh, there's no adrenal fatigue. It's just all made up in the brain. But give somebody ashwagandha. I mean, like, it's wow. Holy basil. I like this tea and I feel good. You know, so it's what they're selling and and what they're not interested in people being healthy. They're more interested in people seeing them all the time.
But that's it though, as you said earlier, it's a quick fix. It's the frills. It's everything tastes nice. It's everything is sugar. Everything is when you put it in your mouth, it's like this tastes nice, right? It's an addictive spirit. Because you remember when I came to you too, I had my leaky gut. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever. And I went on that, I think it was like 20 days or 25 days of waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to drink that drink. And as much as I complained, I did it. You know what I mean?
Put it done 18 days.
18, it just seems longer. Marley, it feels like forever. But the thing is, I have never felt better. And this is the thing, because it- until you start taking stock of your life and how you're feeling, and then you take that next movement. And this is the thing that I've always said, and I talk about it on all of my programs, is you have to have your tribe. We have to be upfront and have that conversation, in telling people to look after themselves, look after your health. And a lot of times where people are saying that they have sexual issues or not enjoying sex, it's just always an imbalance in your body. Always an imbalance. We were talking about imbalance earlier. And if you fix that, the whatever is going on through your system, that needs to be fixed or look after to make you have that healthy mindset, then everything will just change and fix itself. But if you don't get up and do.
Its body's always in reparative mode. It's always repairing itself all the time. It constantly remove cells, new cells are manufactured, or it's just like it's just constantly working. It doesn't stop. Even when you're sleeping, it's repairing.
But that's
So
it's
why
just
would
like your
you
skin
have to
too,
be in a
right?
constant state? Huh?
It's just like you lose skin cells every day too, no?
Exactly. You lose skin cells. Your bone marrow is constantly pumping out millions of them daily. Like it's constant cells. And these you don't really lose them. They go into cell death and they 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 make new cells before they go off. And that's how it is. So but if you don't keep doing that, you really the only thing that lasts that lives forever is really cancer cells. So those cells they don't die because they don't have any instructions to die. They have lost their instructions. So that's why they're so hard to knock back. But then again, with good diet, you can really knock back those cells because you can cut off their feeding, which is glucose.
Yes. Yes.
So again, you go back again to really, because remember that the insulin changes carbs to glucose. Fat. So you really want to stop that. You really want to start getting in that type of raw material in the body.
So proper diet, making sure that you're eating the right stuff. And I remember once I talked to you about taking D3K2 because everybody's saying you need to do DK that mineral the D3K the D3
Vitamin D is
vitamin
like a hormone.
Exactly, but go ahead.
Yeah, everybody that has some kidney problem should take vitamin D because if you have unhealthy kidneys, you're not manufacturing vitamin D
and
well.
This is the thing, though.
So you really need that.
But this is the thing, though, Marlin. What I was trying to get at is society doesn't tell you that, though. They're saying to you that you need it regardless. Instead of saying, you know what, if you're short of certain things, that means you're having issues with your kidney. Let's work on certain part of your body. What all they're saying is keep pumping, because you're telling me if your kidney's fine, that your vitamin D3 would just automatically be flowing beautifully through your system, right? And if you And you're saying too, if someone has proper sun in the summertime, that vitamin D would be in your system for a year because now you have.
You store vitamin D.
I'm sorry.
You store it. That's why you have to have healthy liver. You store vitamin D.
Exactly, if you have a good liver, right?
Yeah.
But this is the thing, though, and this is why you should be the face of any herb that's supposed to be.
Vitamins, so that's why you need to eat fatty fish. It's in fat. It's in tallow, beef tallow. You need to eat fat. So even within your diet, you can consume vitamin D in those good healthy fats. Those plant, those animal-based fats. It's not really bad.
Wow. Okay. So
everybody demonize fat, and since they started doing that, everybody got fat. Because since of the anti-fat movement in the 70s, look on how we are. Look on young kids that's graduating; they're bigger than anything else. They couldn't find a fat kid before the 70s.
But Marlin, this is the thing, though. They demonize fat because they don't understand fat, and there's different types of fat. So the fat that they're probably getting is from all these bad sugar that they're getting, the dumplings, the wheat flour, the pastas. But then you have the good fat that's not being talked about, right? And this is
they tell you they're also selling the vegetable fats, and they're selling vegetable-based fat, like all these plant-based fat, which is all bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. So education is key.
But there's a vested interest in selling that.
Yeah, because it's money for them, right? It's money for them. And the thing is, living a healthy lifestyle. You go to the grocery store, right? And then you go into the grocery store and you see the healthy lifestyle. Because until you start educating me about grain-fed this, you even said the other day, you also have grain-fed butter, but not a carb. There's another word that you put for it. You said we're not to take that one. It has to only say grain-fed. But before, what was that?
It has grass-fed beef, grass-fed butter.
Yes.
Well, grass-fed beef, grass-fed cow would have grass-fed butter, obviously.
Yes, because remember.
So
go ahead. Sorry.
The animal eats what he's supposed to eat, grass. So you have to you have to hunt for that type of thing, like you hunt for wild sockeye salmon instead of farm-raised salmon.
This is Adrena, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Hey, this is Bay Bright, the bad boy indie soul, Bright Vision Entertainment CEO, and you're chilling, listening to iLive Radio. Keep it locked.
This is Cheryl Brooks, and you're listening to iLive Radio, supporting independent artists and their music.
Hello, I am Erica, and you're listening to iLive Radio with some of the best independent artists from around the world.
What up, it's your girl Shanaz, and you're listening to some of the best independent soul music from around the world with iLive Radio.
This is Miss Care, keeping you connected with your iLive 5x5. Brought to you by iLive Music, sponsored by Independent Hype, and powered by The Hook Entertainment. Contribute to the conversation by using hashtag iLive5x5.
For the latest and greatest in soul music and more, stay tuned to iLive Radio throughout the week.
Connect with our team at iliveradio.com or follow us at iLive Radio across social platforms.
You're listening to iLive Radio, www.iliveradio.com.
Marlene.
Hi, baby.
I'm sorry. Welcome back. For those who are joining me, we have Marlin from Marlin Herbs talking about prostate issues, estrogen, menopause, what's good for your body to keep you whole and healthy and live a long lifestyle and enjoying your sexuality, your sex play, running and just have this amazing energy. So welcome back, Marlene, at iLive Radio. And I do apologize for not giving you a heads up before the commercial, but commercials pay the bills, right?
I know.
So before we went on break, we were talking about what we need to look for when we're buying stuff. I mean, I know I mentioned the grain-fed butter, but what I was kind of leaning into is
Ghana grass. Cows don't eat
okay,
grain. Cows
okay,
don't eat grass.
grass. Sorry.
Cows are vegan. Cows are vegan. That's why we eat them. So everybody that don't think that we are vegan,
We're not
we eat
vegans.
cows. We're vegan, so we consume them. So we're still vegan.
Okay, so grass-fed butter. But what I was trying to lead into, if you go to a grocery store, Marlin, and you see your grass-fed butter, and then you have your regular butter, or you can't believe it's not butter, whatever it is, and because it's probably 50 cents cheaper, they're always going for that. You know what I mean?
It's not a little bit different, cheaper, baby. It's a lot different in price.
I know it's a lot, but then you're thinking longevity, you're thinking health, you're thinking mind, you're thinking body. Because, to be honest, Marlin, there is so many people. Because we talked about the whole diabetes thing and what's going on. There's so much Alzheimer's that's out there right now. The whole cancer, and these are attributed to the type of food that we have. We're talking erectile dysfunction. We're talking women that has dryness. We're talking about endometriosis. We're talking about so many things that women and men are going through. We have issues with prostate, and we're talking babies. We're talking men and women in their 30s and having these things. Women can't have children for whatever reason. But what we're talking about right now is because we're not taking care of the most important thing, which is our internal bodies. And we're feeding it gunk and not the right stuff. You're even saying with even a little bit of just eating properly and having the right oils and butters and fat from animals could keep you lubricated, and feeling fine. But we're not even talking about lubricating in terms of your vagina, but even your skin glowing. Because nowadays, I look at you, and you're several years older than me, and I look at you, and you're like a 30-year-old with an amazing body, and you don't work out.
I don't have time because people keep dropping in on me. I want to this year.
But this is what I'm saying, though. You look like the food you eat.
I know. And you don't, when you eat a lot of food, a lot of healthy food, you don't eat, when you consume healthy food, you don't eat a lot of it. That's what people don't get either. So when you buy the expensive palm oil and the coconut oil and the butter and a lot of avocado that actually grows on a big tree, so you buy the West Indian avocado, not the one at Costco. And those little tiny tree that is stuck. And those trees are about 4 foot tall. It's not real avocado.
You're talking about a real pear.
Real pear that stays out in the sunlight and exposed it to, and lots of sulfur fall and all kind of stuff happen to it. Really good. And you start eating like that. It looks expensive, but by God, you eat half a ounce of butter, you eat it with a fish, you eat with some avocado. But before halfway into it, you're full. And you're not hungry until another $5-6. So you cannot have more than 2 meals a day. There's nobody that eats fat that gets hungry. You can't crave and you can't eat more than 2 meals a day.
I have to agree with you with that, Marlin, because honestly, I have been following your directions for the last for a while now, but I'm going to be honest with you. I know you know what I'm telling you. For the last 3 weeks, like I'm following your regime religiously. Like I've taken pasta, and I'm a pasta head, taking it out, wheat. So most of my stuff is with the whole coconut oil, the butter, the type of meat. Like it makes your lifestyle so much better. Like fatigue, I could have a 5-hour sleep or a 4-hour sleep and get up and feel amazing. Because of now that my body is, is changing from the what I used to consume, so I'm not feeling sluggish. And you're right, it's the type of oils that I've been putting in our body, so you're now feeling more energetic and more wholesome.
Yes, it is. And you don't eat a lot of food. So when I ask you to change your diet to go buy a piece of yellow yam or whatever, they're like, oh, but it's always expensive. I said, okay, just try eating 4 ounces of yellow yam. You make a slice, cut it in. One slice can serve for you and your partner.
So let me ask you a question
And
before. We're going to be done at 8 o'clock, but I want to ask you this. I know we talk about, where we're from, we're West Indian. You always eat about with the food that we're growing up with. Let's say for somebody else who's not West Indian or from from our this border, what kind of food? I'm sorry.
I was asked that question in the clinic today. Perfect that you asked it. We are made, our body, we are an adaptive species. So whenever we get in an environment, we adapt. But you adopt the longer you are, and the more birth that are given, like in over 12,000 years, 15,000 years, you digest those products better over time. Your body get to understand this is where nutrients from, and it also adapt to it. So a person that is in Europe, their primary source of carbs is wheat. Fine, they're slim. Perfect. So I have no problem with that. A person that eats a lot of rice, they have been eating that for millions of years. No problem. So, but if you notice people